He moved quietly across the skyscraper's glass lobby, head bowed, pushing the janitor's cart like a man apologizing for existing. No one noticed him, except the little girl sobbing behind a marble column. Jordan Blackwell, the janitor everyone ignored, stopped, set the mop aside, and knelt. From his shirt pocket he pulled a small handmade teddy bear, brown, crookedly stitched, one ear bigger than the other. He placed it on the floor between himself and the crying girl and waited. Slowly she looked up, hugged the bear, and for the first time in months, stopped crying. Upstairs, CEO Eleanor Pierce watched the surveillance feed. On the screen, her silent daughter Isabel smiled faintly through tears. Something inside Eleanor broke open. 9 therapists had failed. A janitor had reached her child. 3 months earlier, Eleanor had lost her husband Richard in a plane crash. Her daughter, once the office's sunshine, had collapsed into silence that no nanny or expert could breach. Eleanor, brilliant, indomitable, was powerless before a 7-year-old's grief. That same grief haunted Jordan. Once a preschool teacher and a devoted father, he had lost his 5-year-old son Ethan in a car accident that also shattered his wife's mind and their marriage. He'd buried his life, found work where no one asked questions, and spent his nights sewing toys from scraps of old clothes. When he saw Isabel's eyes, those hollow, wounded eyes, he recognized the pain. The teddy bear had been meant for Ethan. Instead, it saved another child. The next day, Isabel appeared in the lobby, clutching the bear. She walked to Jordan and sat nearby. He set a bottle cap between them. Once, he said softly, there was a bottle cap everyone threw away, but it still believed it had worth. Isabel whispered, what secret did it know? That worth isn't what others see, it's what we see in ourselves. She looked at him. Are you sad too? I was. Sometimes I still am. Why? Because I lost someone. I lost my dad. I know, Jordan murmured, and together they said nothing more. Grief spoke for them both. From her office, Eleanor watched through tears. Her daughter was talking again. She learned Jordan's past through his file. Former teacher, lost child, widowed in everything but name. When she confronted him, he only said, I helped her because I know how she feels. Eleanor whispered, it never goes away, does it? No, he said. It becomes part of who we are. She asked him to keep helping Isabel, not as therapist or employee, but as friend. He agreed on one condition. Isabel must never think I'm her father. I'm only a friend who listens. Word spread through the tower. The CEO's daughter was being cared for by a janitor. Shareholders called it reckless. Eleanor called it human. The board protested. She silenced them. Logic didn't save my child, she told them. When tabloids discovered the story, cameras swarmed the building. Critics mocked Eleanor as unstable. Supporters called her brave. Then came an anonymous police complaint. Officers confronted Jordan in the cafe while Isabel watched, terrified. Don't take him, she cried. They took my dad too. Eleanor arrived, fierce as flame. Without a court order, you take no one, she said, and the officers withdrew. That night, Jordan wanted to quit. They'll dig up everything, he told her. My past will ruin you, she answered. Then we'll fight. You leaving will hurt her more. Days later, another crisis erupted. Isabel disappeared. Eleanor's heartbeat crashed into panic. She called Jordan. He knew instantly where the girl had gone. The old Pierce Global office where her father once worked. Inside the dark, abandoned building, he found her curled up with the teddy bear. I wanted to find Dad, she sobbed. I don't want to forget his face. You won't, Jordan said. Look in the mirror, you have his eyes, his heart. That means he's always here. I want him to tell me stories again. I want my son too, Jordan whispered, holding her close. When Eleanor arrived with police, she saw them, daughter safe in the arms of the man the world distrusted. She knelt, gathered Isabel, and met Jordan's eyes. Thank you, she breathed. I didn't find her, he said. She found me. After that night, Eleanor refused to hide. At a press conference, she stood before flashing cameras and said, My daughter is safe because one man dared to care. If the world values degrees more than compassion, maybe the world needs healing. Then she announced Ethan's Light, a program for grieving children run not by professionals, but by people who had known loss and patience. She asked Jordan to lead it. He consented only if it bore his son's name. The room was simple: soft lamps, shelves of handmade toys, photos of smiling children. On the wall hung a picture of Ethan, missing front tooth and all. Sometimes the brightest light comes from the smallest hearts. 3 children came that first week. Jordan told them about a small star that wasn't as bright as the others but guided a lost child home. The children listened wide-eyed. Isabel sat beside a new girl and whispered, "He helped me too." At dusk, Jordan and Eleanor stood beneath Ethan's photograph. "Do you regret opening your heart again?" she asked. "No," he said. "Isabel showed me that loving again doesn't erase what we lost." "I've learned that too," Eleanor replied. "Strength isn't never breaking. It's helping someone else stand beside you." Weeks later, at dinner in Eleanor's modest Brooklyn apartment, Isabel proudly served pasta she'd cooked herself. Afterward, she showed Jordan a drawing. 4 figures: her dad, her mom, herself, and Jordan. Beside him was a small boy holding his hand. "That's Ethan," she said shyly, "so he won't be lonely." Jordan hugged her, tears shining. "Thank you, sweetheart." A year passed. Ethan's light had grown into 10 centers, reaching hundreds of children. Reporters who once called him a fraud now called him a miracle maker. But he always shook his head, not miracle understanding. At the anniversary celebration, Jordan stood before a crowd. "I'm not a speaker," he began. "I'm just a father who once lost his child. I thought love ended that day. But it didn't, it changed shape. Ethan isn't here, yet he lives in every story, every smile. Ethan's light isn't only for children. It's for adults who've forgotten we can still love after we break." When applause thundered, Isabel ran on stage and hugged him. "I love you, Uncle Jordan. I love you too." That night on the rooftop, Eleanor smiled at the city below. "A year ago you were invisible," she said. "Now you're family." He looked startled. "Family?" She nodded. "Isabel sees you as her second father, and I see you as part of us, not perfect but real." He hesitated. "I'm afraid of losing again." "Then we'll be afraid together," she said, taking his hand. Sunday morning sunlight washed over Central Park. Isabel laughed on the swings while Eleanor pushed and Jordan watched. A photo album resting on his knee, pictures of Ethan, Isabel, and of the unlikely family that had grown from sorrow. Sometimes miracles don't descend from the sky. They sweep a floor, sew a teddy bear, and sit quietly beside a crying child until grief learns how to breathe again. Because within each of us flickers an Ethan's light. A small, steady glow that no matter how lost can still guide someone home.